This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, how a brand new housing project in Dartmouth has reduced the number of homeless families in Halifax by a third. Halifax councillors sidestep any talk of apologizing for that controversial tent encampment removal 3 years ago. And we'll take a tour through the Nova Scotia Native Women's Association's new Resilience Centre in Millbrook.
Sweet September weather continues. Another nice one shaping up for Thursday with high pressure dominating. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. A new affordable housing project in Dartmouth is welcoming its first residents. The YWCA bought 32 townhouses to provide safe, affordable housing for families. The CBC's Nicola Sagan spoke to one of the families about what it means to move in.
The Saab family is finally home. After being on the brink of homelessness for 2 years, Fadi Saab, his wife, and their 4 children moved into new, affordable housing earlier this month.
It's just like we're feeling pain for a long time, and then once for all the pain disappears. You feel very good.
Earlier this year, CBC met Saab in the hotel room he shared with his family. They came to Canada in 2022 as refugee claimants, then struggled to find a place to live on his salary as a custodian, bouncing from hotel to hotel until everything changed.
We were very happy. It was so good to know that you are moving finally someplace for a long term and not temporary.
The YWCA bought 32 townhouses here in a new neighborhood called Mount Hope Village. Shaw Group built them in just a year, alongside other market-priced homes. The affordable rentals will be filled with women and their families who have been homeless, living in hotels, or participating in other YWCA housing programs. And they can stay forever.
To know it's yours is now you can start to plan, you can look to the future, you can start to set down roots.
The total cost of the project was more than $12 million, funded by all 3 levels of government and the YWCA. The province is also pitching in $500,000 every year for operating costs and support services. Swakanadio says before this project, 94 families were on the list that tracks homelessness in Halifax. Now, that's been reduced by a third.
It's a real testament, and 94 feels like an insurmountable number, but you can see in a matter of 12 months, you can make a real impact on that number.
The YWCA has other housing projects in the works. Swakanadio says they're always looking for partnerships to help move women and families out of homelessness faster. Nicola Sagan, CBC News, Halifax.
A new report on the controversial homeless encampment evictions 3 years ago came before council yesterday. The review says the decisions by the Halifax Regional Police and the municipality led to a day of chaos. Councillors, though, had little to say about it. Haley Ryan has more.
Who does this serve? Who does this protect? Who does this serve? Who does this protect?
A large group of protesters clashed with police in front of the Old Memorial Library on August 18, 2021. The new review from a team of Toronto lawyers criticizes decisions made by Halifax Police and the city that day. It says there were multiple opportunities for both the force or municipal staff to stand down. But Halifax Council talked about the report for just 12 minutes on Tuesday.
The event that led to this report was difficult. And it was difficult for the unhoused, it was difficult for the public, the staff involved, and the police personnel. And this is why that review was requested. The Board of Police Commission recognizes that improvements have already been made here at the municipality in supporting our unhoused communities. Changes because they were identified and lessons were learned.
Both the former Halifax CAO, Jacques Dubé, and former police chief, Dan Kinsella, have left their roles. Now, encampment closures are led by city staff and give residents weeks' notice to leave. The city is also designating new camps to handle the dozens of people still sleeping outside.
I think we lead the country in many ways in how we're dealing with homelessness. And I think even from a policing perspective, we've come a long way, and there's lots of lessons to be learned, and there's a lot of good things that have happened since then.
The review makes 37 recommendations for Halifax Police and the city, including an apology. Neither have committed to that yet.
We can and we should do better, and we are doing better, and that was recognized in the report. And I do think actions speak louder than words.
Council voted to have the CAO prepare a report on the recommendations relating to Halifax. Mayor Mike Savage did not weigh in and declined to speak with CBC about the report. One politician who was there 3 years ago says the review confirmed what he saw that day.
We want homes, not cops! We want homes, not cops!
NDP MLA Gary Burrell called Savage to tell him things were getting dangerous and the police should stand down. While the mayor can't tell police what to do, the report says city staff could have been pulled out.
We didn't speak about that, but the review speaks about it very clearly. So there were lots of off-ramps here, and those opportunities weren't taken.
Burrell says the real issue is the province's failure to help homeless people. More than 1,000 people are homeless in Halifax, with more than 160 sleeping rough as of last month. The province is spending millions this year, including on a tiny home community and temporary housing. Haley Ryan, CBC News, Halifax.
A man has been charged with attempted murder after an incident that disrupted the first day of school for some families in North End Halifax last week. Last Thursday at about 7:30 in the morning, police were called to an injured person near the 3600 block of Rosemead Avenue. A man with a gunshot wound was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. In a news release today, Halifax police say they've charged a 34-year-old man with attempted murder. They're still investigating the incident. Well, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump went head-to-head last night in what could be the only debate in the U.S. presidential campaign.
Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
We have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions.
Both the Harris and the Trump campaigns are hoping their performances can break a polling deadlock. Watching the debate from Nova Scotia, an expert in American politics at St. FX says there are some things Canadians should make note of.
Obviously, some of this political rhetoric kind of filters into our own politics. So it's hopefully we can have kind of cooler heads prevail within our own sort of domestic politics here in Canada. But foreign relations sort of factored in a bit here and there. There was discussion of Ukraine. There was discussion of the war in Gaza and some other kinds of issues that obviously Canadians are impassioned about in terms of those kind of conflicts.
I will talk to Asa McKercher from St. FX University about some of the highlights from last night's debate. That's our newsmaker just after 6:30. Let's check in with Ryan Snoddon now. He joins us on set to talk about this spectacular September we're having. Hello there, Ryan.
Hey, Preston. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful day out there. And there's more of this to come. In fact, temperatures are going to be climbing in the coming days. High temperatures across the province on Wednesday. You can see high teens, low 20s along the Atlantic coastline. That northwest flow, certainly you can see where those winds were blowing in today with the cooler temps in through the northern areas and those warmest temps along the Atlantic coastline. Now for Thursday, we're going to be seeing more widespread temperatures into the 20s as we warm up with those west to southwest winds on Thursday. Beautiful, beautiful day. Mostly sunny skies. We'll see some cloud kicking up into the afternoon as we watch the timeline of all this into your Thursday morning. Again, crisp, cool morning. Make sure you got the sweater for Thursday morning, as you're going to need it. The kids are, as you head out the door with some mid to high single digits and some low double digits to start. But that high pressure area continues to dominate. We've got a little front with maybe a few showers for Friday night into early Saturday. But overall, it is a really nice looking 7-day. Can't wait to share it with you a little later on in the program.
All right, thank you, Ryan. We are into the sweater weather. I like it.
Yes, sir.
All right. The number of people who do not have primary health care provider in Nova Scotia has not been publicly updated for 3 months, and it might not be updated for months to come. In June, the Need a Family Practice Registry had 160,000 people on it. The health authority says it's calling all those people to verify that they still need primary care and to find out more about their health care needs. Opposition politicians are accusing the PC Conservative government of holding back the information until it's politically convenient. But Health Minister Michelle Thompson says the only reason for the pause is to make the system better. Health officials told a legislature committee today that things are improving with the province's ambulance service. The president and CEO of Emergency Medical Care told the committee that offload wait times and response times for ambulance calls have been cut since he took over in January. The head of the Nova Scotia Health told reporters that while she's still not satisfied with response times, they are being reduced by a few minutes every month.
You know, it's a classic case of how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So instead of going from 0 to 100, we're going 5, 7, 10, 12, and every day we take steps, and month over month we're seeing some good improvement.
But a Liberal MLA told health officials the picture was not as rosy as they claimed during their 90 minutes of testimony. Kelly Regan shared the experience of her 36-year-old daughter who needed emergency gallbladder surgery this past spring.
The surgical resident said, quite frankly, if she had been older or in less good shape, she would have died from what she had. And she would sit there for hours. And you may say, oh, the time to triage, but I'll tell you, triage is just the first part. You can get triaged in minutes. And then you sit there for hours and hours in agony.
Regan says her daughter waited the whole weekend to have a simple operation to begin to relieve her pain. NDP leader Claudia Chender says there is still too much secrecy around a healthcare facility being built in West Bedford. The province bought the former hotel construction site last year with plans to convert it to a transitional care facility to help free up hospital beds. It sold the property earlier this year to Shanex, which will complete the work and operate the site. Yesterday, Chender's party drew attention to a $120 million sole source contract that the province awarded in June to Shanex.
Model is good. Transitional care sounds great, but it's still not open. We've spent hundreds of millions of dollars. The Auditor General issued a scathing report, and it seems to have had no impact on this government. This government has continued secret business as usual, and I think that that is deeply concerning.
Michelle Thompson says the money is what the government has approved for negotiations on the project, but she offered no details while those talks continue. The health minister says she is not concerned about construction happening before a contract with Shanex is finalized.
This work has to have urgency to it, and so this, I trust the teams. They're very skilled, and we'll just continue on this path.
Thompson says the first 68 beds at that site are scheduled to open by the end of the year. Well, the Nova Scotia Native Women's Association recently invited guests and community members to the inauguration of its Resilience Centre. CBC's Jeff Douglas was given a tour.
So my name is Sabrina Whitman. I'm from Glooscap First Nation, and I am the project lead for the creation or the capital build of the Resiliency Centre. There's one person in particular who really championed the idea in the beginning. This would have been Lorraine Whitman. And she attended an AGA for the Native Women's Association of Canada in Ottawa. And they talked about resiliency centers and having resiliency centers in every province or territory. And Lorraine was very excited by this and came back to Nova Scotia and said, okay, I want to be the first.
What's the mission?
The purpose of a resiliency center is to showcase the resilience of our societies and especially our women, but also to have a space that supports healing, starting with women, our two-spirited community, their children, and families overall. The start of the project really was focused on engagement and hearing what was a priority for board members, Mi'kmaq women, but also Indigenous women, to also have conversations with Mi'kmaq organizations so we don't duplicate services, to determine how can we create a center that meets our needs. This is the Cedar Room, which is our space that our medicines are in. You can have healing circles, talking circles. This is our full teaching kitchen. So you can make baby food here. We have bibs here. There's high chairs here because it's about family. And so the outdoor kitchen obviously connects directly to the indoor kitchen. And then this is our dance circle. So if they want to have any organizational powwows or ceremony, they can have it right here. Culturally, Nadumalik was an important aspect of the project. So how do we ensure sustainability? How do we support local, create the least amount of harm? So we created a building that's passively survivable and net zero. How do we support moms in their healing? How can we incorporate kids to get the skills that they need, but also to support, like I said, moms in their healing journey? This room that the ladies are in is just our family room, so you can have counseling in here, but you can also have family sessions if kids are in care. And then this is our kind of play space or daycare space for the kids. So we wanted to have Mi'kmaq language in here. We have even more posters that can go up. We didn't want to paint the room because we were advised for kids with sensory issues. You don't want to have it overwhelming. So we really tried to pick, even in the palette in the space, calm and comforting. So a lot of clients that NSNWA works with are fleeing domestic violence. We know MMIWG, Missing Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, is a file that Nova Scotia Native women hold. So how can we create a space that women can come into for programming and supports, but they might be fleeing a domestic violence situation. So how do we make sure that they know that they're coming to a place where they will be okay, or if someone comes after them, say their partner, that they're still safe in that space. So all of these layers have been incorporated into it. To get into spaces, you need codes, but the big thing is to get into the programming spaces. Because again, if a woman is fleeing domestic violence, she's in here for programming, you can't get in and get her. So the entry was all about, again, safety and security. So we wanted a big entryway, open doors full of glass, so if you're in here, you can see who's coming. The entire building is basically wrapped in cedar inside and out because of the medicinal and healing side of cedar. All throughout the building, you'll see, well, not in here, but in the hallways, are skylights for natural light, so that there's always natural light all throughout. This has been a labor of love for me from the very beginning, and I think especially when I heard board members walking around today and getting excited by this space, it made me emotional, because this is the reason why I worked on this project, was for my mom and for the women in this province. So to know that they're proud of this, that makes me even prouder.
Beautiful shot there of a little river. Ryan is back with the full forecast in just a moment. We'll see you in just a few minutes. And welcome back. As Ryan was saying, it's some sweet September weather. I don't know what we've done to deserve weather like this, but I'm not complaining. I'll take it.
Yeah, listen, we'll take it every day of the week, especially this time of year, as we know, is peak hurricane season.
Yeah.
So the longer it's quiet this time of year, the more we're, decreasing our chances that we're going to get something coming down the pipeline. So
every day is a win, right?
Every day is a win, absolutely. And of course, so watching the situation along the Gulf Coast of Mexico right now with Francine, we'll get to that in just a sec. First, let's show you our coast and beautiful Burnt Coat Head. And you can see there, high tide, beautiful shot right now. Nova Scotia webcams.com. Thanks to this for this video. And you can see, live pic right now. Just a lovely, lovely evening all across the province. Temperatures out there right now, we've got some high teens, couple of low 20s still. Halifax City, one of the actual last spots hanging on at this hour to the 20-degree mark, as you can see, at least officially with the Environment Canada stations. As we look at the winds, they've been in from the northwest today, and a little on the breezy side, keeping that real September feel, but it's going to be starting to feel a little more like August over the next couple of days, and then September feel creeps back in for the weekend, and then really feeling like August early next week, as you will see with that 7-day forecast. Looking very, very quiet. Just a few clouds in New Brunswick right now, but overall it is super, super quiet in terms of the clouds. Watching this frontal boundary continuing to move out. Area of high pressure off to our south, and that area of high pressure is going to continue to move in. There's the frontal boundary we've been tracking through the Canadian prairies, keeping certainly it feeling like fall out there, as we'll show you. And there's Francine, and we'll get to Francine in just a moment. Note the temperatures, just 12 in Calgary, 12 in Whitehorse, 18 in Regina, hanging into the 20s through Manitoba, and this warm air mass is building up into the Great Lakes, and that is what we're going to be at least edging into in the coming days. Now, Francine has just been upgraded to a Category 2 hurricane as it makes landfall there along the Louisiana coastline. So this, obviously not a good situation, very heavy rain, very strong winds, Category 2 strength winds as it makes landfall in the next hour there along the coast. And you can see the widespread hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings, flash flood warnings. And this is really going to be a big story in terms of the storm surge, which is pushing onshore with that storm as well. So obviously our thoughts are with the folks on the Gulf Coast this evening, as that is going to be, it's going to be a long evening for those folks riding this one out. Now, as you can see tonight, temperatures locally are going to be in the 6 to 10 range yet again. Now, low-lying areas will dip as chilly as maybe 4 or 5, and there is a slight risk of some patchy frost in low-lying areas for the central and eastern parts of the province for tonight. We'll see any clouds clearing away. It is going to be a mostly clear night tonight and a mostly sunny day again to start the day tomorrow. Maybe a few clouds kicking up into the afternoon, but a lovely day and a lovely evening shaping up for Thursday. Temperatures ranging between 20 and 22 for Cape Breton, up to 23, and again back through Sherbrooke tomorrow to the eastern shore. We'll edge up towards the 24 mark, places like Truro and back in and around the Cobequid Bay area, and then through the valley. One of our hot spots tomorrow, likely Keji, our best shot at 25. More widespread 25s on the board for Friday, Northumberland shore into Cape Breton, those inland parts of the mainland. And again, that area of high pressure will be moving off to the south, watching the possibility of a couple of very isolated showers Friday night into the early stages of Saturday. This will be a little bit of an unstable air mass moving in initially for the weekend, so maybe an isolated shower with the mix of sun and cloud on Saturday. It will definitely be a bit cloudier on Saturday, and then Sunday back to a brighter sky, 23 degrees, and look at that summer-like warmth really building in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, Preston.
That's pretty remarkable. 27 degrees early in the week. We'll take that also. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Coming up, remembering 9/11, 23 years later, the world marks the anniversary of the terrorist attacks in the United States. And we break down last night's U.S. presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. That's our Newsmaker, coming up. Welcome back. Well, the race for the White House has kicked into high gear after last night's presidential debate. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump clashed on issues from abortion to the economy and immigration. Democrats and even some Republicans believe Harris came out on top, but Trump says he won the night. Chris Reyes looks at what voters are saying the day after.
Kamala Harris, let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
It didn't take long for both candidates to claim victory after the 90-minute debate.
This was my best debate. I thought it was very good. I thought she was very weak on foreign policy. She was very weak on the border, and I'm very happy.
I think that we think today was a good day, and it kind of was. But we have 56 days to go, and guys, we're still the underdogs in this race. It's tight.
The debate touched on a wide range of issues: the economy, immigration, foreign policy, and reproductive rights. But it was short on policy details and heavy on the personal hits.
She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist.
It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. So many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace.
One notable endorsement came right after the debate, an Instagram post from the pop star Taylor Swift.
We're honored to have the endorsement of Taylor Swift because I think that Taylor Swift saw what millions of Americans saw last night on the stage. She saw Donald Trump refuse to say if he would sign a national abortion ban. She saw him continue to demean America, and that's not the kind of America that Taylor Swift wants to be in.
From Republicans, the overwhelming criticism that the moderators went easy on Kamala Harris and that Harris wasn't held accountable for President Joe Biden's record.
She spent her time trying to goad Donald Trump, trying to taunt Donald Trump. But what Kamala Harris didn't do is talk about policy to impact the lives of the American people.
While it's voters who will decide who won the debate, some analysts say Trump's angry outbursts gave Harris the upper hand.
I think Kamala Harris won the debate. She was able to trip Donald Trump up, keep him on the defensive, basically from the start when she essentially forced him to shake her hand. She set the rhythm and the tempo of the debate, and she knocked Trump off his game from the start.
No word yet on whether there will be a second debate between the two, though other networks, including Fox News, have made it clear they want to host one. One debate that's confirmed is happening this October between the VP candidates, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
Asa McKercher is an associate professor of public policy and governance at St. Francis Xavier University. He's also the Stephen K. Hudson Research Chair in Canada-U.S. Relations at the school's Brian Mulroney Institute of Government. And he's here now to talk about what he saw last night and how he thinks it might shape the final 8 weeks of the campaign. Professor McKercher, welcome.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks.
So what are some of the standout moments for you from last night's debate?
Well, on the one hand, there was Ms. Harris who presented, I think, a very polished presentation, both of her policies. She introduced herself, I think, to the American people. And then she took the kind of case to Donald Trump and sort of prosecuted him a bit. She's a prosecutor by training. She kind of laid out some of the charges against him, both in terms of actual kind of felonies, other sort of policy issues in which they kind of differ. And that really sort of stood out, I guess, as kind of the long-term kind of trend throughout the debate as far as she's concerned. As for Mr. Trump, he sort of wandered into a number of traps that she set, including a bizarre kind of discussion about cats and dogs and people eating them and other sorts of things, which seems, very characteristic, I think, for his campaign. So I think a number of those kind of moments really stand out, and certainly you see them being played out on social media and other places today.
It's interesting, this was actually the first time the two of these candidates have actually met face-to-face. But how critical, though, were each of their performances in this campaign? How important was that debate last night in swaying voters?
Sure. Well, I think that it's interesting the first time they met, and that's because, of course, for the first time since the U.S. Civil War, he, as the loser of the election, didn't show up to the peaceful transfer of power. So that's important to note. In terms of kind of the presentation to voters, again, Ms. Harris had the opportunity here to present herself to American voters, most of whom polls show don't really know who she is. So I think she did a good job of introducing herself, introducing some of her policy planks. And really, again, prosecuting the case against Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump is someone who I think American voters know very well by now, after 9 or 10 years on the sort of political stage. And as she was kind of keen to point out, again, a theme she sort of developed throughout her discussion, it's more of the same from Donald Trump, more of the same sort of complaints and sort of personal peccadillos that he's very interested in kind of presenting.
So the last debate we saw, it was Biden versus Trump, and Biden kind of knew Trump kind of knew who he was up against with Joe Biden. This time, though, he's facing a woman who's much younger than him. Did you see any evidence that he sort of changed his tack or his approach to the debate, given that his opponent now is far different?
Sure. I mean, he did try to sort of present her as being part of, obviously, the current administration, particularly on issues around immigration, trying to really hammer home that she's a part of the Joe Biden record. There were some sort of, times in which he kind of noted sort of her race, and so there was a bit of a discussion about that, and also around her gender. I think he used some kind of sexual language to describe sex acts and kind of things, and kind of getting down into the gutter. But in terms of kind of what the viewers might do, a great way to kind of assess a debate is just to watch it without the sound on. And so you saw a very, very stark kind of contrast between obviously a younger woman and an older man on that stage, a kind of a future and a past of America, perhaps in some ways.
Do you think it moved the needle? Do you think voters were swayed one way or the other?
The million-dollar question, it's potentially possible. There might be an uptick in certainly the consensus is that she won. There might be an uptick in the polls. But there's 57 days to go to the election. The polls could rapidly change. And what really matters, of course, is perhaps the votes in a few key swing states. And that's why it was important that this debate was held in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, which is the key swing state in the election. Yeah,
she seemed to really be playing to her Pennsylvania audience. Kamala Harris did, for sure. How much play is there really among the electorate right now, among the undecideds?
Well, that's, again, one of these key kind of questions, and the number of undecided voters is, again, a bit hard to settle on. Donald Trump has about 45% kind of rock solid. Kamala Harris probably has about 45% rock solid, so it's that sort of 10% in between that's really up for grabs. But again, the opinion polls will probably show whether that moves or not. Right now, they're both tied in the polls, relatively 50-50 kind of split. So.
Just as a Canadian watching this debate, what were you watching for? Which of these candidates stuck out for you as someone who may make for an interesting partner or may change policy relations between Canada and the U.S.?
Well, Canada wasn't mentioned at the debate, which actually is sometimes a good thing to kind of fly under the radar. Tariffs was an issue that came up for some discussion, but of course we have the new NAFTA 2.0 that's been negotiated, which can maybe get us through some of the tariff issues. In terms of kind of things to watch for Canada, obviously some of this political rhetoric kind of filters into our own politics. So it's hopefully we can have kind of cooler heads prevail within our own sort of domestic politics here in Canada, but foreign relations sort of factored in a bit here and there. There was discussion of Ukraine, there was discussion of the war in Gaza, and some other kinds of issues that obviously Canadians are impassioned about in terms of those kind of conflicts.
All right, Professor McKercher, thanks a lot for your time.
Thanks very much. Take care.
And coming up, the stars come out in Montreal. The city's restaurants vie for a place in the globally esteemed Michelin guidebook. Welcome back. The federal Liberals and the New Democrats are holding caucus retreats, laying out strategy for the upcoming session of Parliament. But the Conservatives are pushing hard for an election, and the sooner the better, as far as their leader is concerned. Ashley Burke has the latest on Pierre Poilievre's efforts to trigger an early vote and the challenges facing the other parties.
For the third week in a row, Pierre Poilievre's trying to throw down the gauntlet.
It's put up or shut up time.
And force an election he seems confident he'll win.
The common sense Conservatives will put forward a non-confidence motion at the earliest possible opportunity. And I'm asking Jagmeet Singh and the NDP to commit unequivocally before Monday's by-elections.
Now he's making it a double dog dare.
Est-ce que le Bloc va voter pour les Québécois?
Challenging the Bloc Québécois to take down the government by voting for it too.
On n'est pas payé à l'heure pour que...
The Bloc's leader has already said he's not working for Poilievre and will do what's best for Quebec. Jagmeet Singh won't say how he'd vote either.
I'm not going to say our decision ahead of time.
But Singh did say what he thinks of Poilievre, who repeatedly mispronounces his name and won't stop calling him Sellout Singh.
He likes to insult people and call people names. I think that shows you what type of person he is.
Right now, Poilievre's call to action is going nowhere, at a time when the NDP and Liberals are both meeting with their caucuses to strategize their next moves.
We believe in Canadians.
After a summer of reflection and some Canadians and some of his own MPs calling for change, Justin Trudeau has given no signs of a new plan, but is preparing for a fierce fight.
I can't wait to continue getting into it this fall with Poilievre, whose perspective is cuts are the only way forward.
All of this unfolding on a day that felt like an election campaign. The party's leaders out in front of cameras before two high-stake by-elections on Monday. That's the same day MPs are heading back to Parliament Hill, and we'll see how soon Poilievre can take his challenge to the floor of the House of Commons, and if anyone actually follows through on his dare. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
The hunt for a missing lion is over, and one of Canada's most intriguing crimes has been solved. The famous photographic portrait of Winston Churchill that disappeared from the Chateau Laurier Hotel in Ottawa has been found in Italy. The CBC's Nicole Williams picks up the story.
I'm thrilled, and Mrs. Karsh is thrilled.
It's known as the Roaring Lion, one of the most famous portraits in the world, taken of Sir Winston Churchill in 1941 by famed Canadian photographer Yusuf Karsh following the British Prime Minister's speech to Canadian Parliament. For the last 2 years, it's been missing. And today, police say it's been found.
We've been waiting for this day for over 2 years now, and I'm beyond excited.
I'm pleased today to advise the public and the media that we are in the process of recovering the Roaring Lion from Italy.
The portrait had hung on the walls of the Chateau Laurier in Ottawa for nearly 25 years, until one day it was discovered the portrait on the walls was a fake. Unnoticed for months, finally spotted by a member of his estate, the giveaway, Karsh's signature in the corner of the portrait. The brazen heist made international headlines and set Ottawa police on a global hunt for the photo. A key clue, the most recent picture of the real portrait was taken on Christmas Day in 2021, and the fake in its place by January 6th, 2022.
I just couldn't believe that someone could actually do that.
Now, 2 years later, investigators confirmed they were able to track down the photo in Italy. The portrait was purchased from renowned London auction house Sotheby's. Police say neither the buyer or seller were aware that the piece was in fact stolen. And while the details of the investigation are being kept quiet for now, police arrested a 43-year-old man from Powassan, Ontario, back in April. He's been charged with theft, forgery, and trafficking stolen property. Canadian officials will be heading to Rome later this month, where the portrait will be returned during a special ceremony and eventually brought back to the hotel to hang in its rightful place. Nicole Williams, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ceremonies were held today to mark the 23rd anniversary of the 9/11 attacks in the United States. On this day in 2011, nearly 3,000 people were killed when terrorists crashed jets into the World Trade Center in New York City, a field in Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon. Several political leaders, including U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris and former U.S. President Donald Trump, were in attendance.
Your memory lives on in our hearts, and your family misses you deeply.
David Michael Barkway, Kenneth William Besnicki, Jane S. Beatty.
I would like to take this time to thank everyone who really keeps their word to never forget.
We have repaired the damage to this building, but we cannot repair the damage to your hearts.
Todd M. Beamer.
My mom, Cece Louise Ross Lyles.
Well, there is a housing shortage in Canada, and it is especially severe in First Nations communities. The Assembly of First Nations is calling for $135 billion in federal funding to address homelessness and overcrowding. But in Alberta, an energy company is stepping up to help ease the problem. Paula Duhacek has that story.
Grace Richards has done what she can to make this trailer a home, but without running water and electricity, every day brings a new challenge.
It's falling apart now, and to tell you the truth, I don't think if I had to stay here another winter, I don't think I'd be able to do it. A shower. A shower. Yeah.
Richards and her sister will soon move into pre-built homes like these ones. The oil and gas company Cenovus is spending $50 million to build homes in 6 First Nations and Métis communities.
Fundamentally, Cenovus wants to be a good neighbor in the communities that we are adjacent and working with.
It means people will get out of the, you could say, poverty situations that they are currently living in and live in more standard living with running water, with proper heating, just a warm home to live in during the winter.
According to Statistics Canada, Indigenous people are more likely than non-Indigenous people to live in crowded housing and homes that need major repair. Here, it's a problem despite being a stone's throw from oil sands facilities that generate billions in annual revenue.
There's this massive crisis in Indigenous housing in the middle of some of the wealthiest piece of land in the world. It just doesn't make any sense.
This investment won't solve that crisis, but it's a start, he says.
It represents a realization on the part of the more progressive and innovative Canadian companies that their long-term viability relies on a deep and profound connection with Indigenous communities.
Cenovus says it will build 35 homes in this community by the end of next year. This is your backup stove?
That's my backup stove, yes.
Yes. As for Grace Richards, she'll be among the first to move into a new home. She's looking forward to having a brand new kitchen in time to host Christmas dinner. Paula Duhacek, CBC News, Conklin, Alberta.
Well, the world-famous Michelin Guide has been expanding in Canada for the past several years, and starting next year, it will be including ratings for restaurants and dining spots in Quebec. Now, the chefs and owners are happy for a chance to win a coveted star, but as the CBC's Sarah Levitt reports, there are concerns about how it might change the food scene in the province.
It's long been the benchmark for fine dining. The Michelin Guide, created in 1900 as a travel guidebook, ever since chefs around the world have coveted those elusive stars. And now restaurants in Quebec are in the running.
We've been pretty excited.
Montreal has always been seen as the culinary capital of Canada, though Michelin first went to Toronto and Vancouver. This chef believes having the Michelin guide here will provide an economic boost.
Do I believe that we needed Michelin before now? I don't think so. Am I glad that they're here? Absolutely.
But other chefs worry the guide's emphasis on fine dining is restrictive and Eurocentric. In rewarding stars, the guide looks at the quality of the ingredients, mastery of cooking and culinary techniques, harmony of flavors, personality of the dishes, and consistency.
I don't want it to be you go into a restaurant and then they're clicking the box.
Antonio Park is a culinary superstar not just in Montreal but around the world. He worries restaurants in the city will try to chase stars, changing the dynamic of the scene.
We are all about the whole package of giving them pleasure, making them feel like home. We're a city where, la joie de vivre.
Still,
yes, I want one, 2 or 3.
Michelin was given $2.1 million in grants over 3 years, including money from the city, province, and Ottawa. This to a company worth billions of dollars.
Why do they get so much funding so quickly?
For the past 10 years, Elise Tasté has built up her own guide to Quebec restaurants.
Michelin targeting to people who want that and high-end restaurant, getting those tourists, I think is fantastic. There is going to be less visibility for the smaller restaurant, but that's where I come in.
Just who gets those stars will be revealed in 2025. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Welcome back. Ryan is with us now. And Ryan, it bears repeating, there is nothing like this 20-plus sunshine stretch of weather in September. You can't beat it.
No.
Maybe in October.
You're right. That's true. If we're punching into the 20s, even into October, it's definitely even sweeter. But this is a great stretch, and it's not going anywhere. I mean, we're going to have temperatures riding into the 20s, even through, it looks like, all of next week, perhaps even till we get to the equinox. So some good news there. Well deserved. Have a look at our viewer picture of the day. This one, we're going to zoom in on Conrad's Beach. Conrad's Beach. And
with those clouds.
Right?
What kind of clouds are
Some
those?
rain in the distance. Well, some cumulus clouds there dropping and into some stratus clouds, dropping some rain. You can see the darkness towards the right-hand side of the picture. That's our rain. But then a little kite surfer there just above the CBC News logo.
Ah, yes.
You can just see, thanks Frank for dropping that off. Frank, on our director, really quick on the trigger. And you can see, there's a kite surfer there. So thanks to Sandy Johnson for sharing Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Not a bad day for kite surfing tomorrow either. Wind from the southwest, temperatures near 20 to 22 degrees in through and along the Atlantic coastline, maybe as warm as 24 inland, as you can see. Enjoy the sunshine.
Excellent kite weather, whether you're surfing over the water or just on Citadel Hill.
For sure. Before
we go, we want to tell you about this story. You may remember these moves from Paris. Check this out. So that is Australian breaker Rachel Gunn, also known as Ray Gunn, and she's holding on to her #1 spot world ranking. Now that's despite some heavily criticized Olympic performance.
The World Dance Sport Federation is defending their methodology, saying it is based on dancers' top 4 performances in the past 12 months. Ray Gunn's gold medal at the 2023 Oceania Championships helped her to take the top spot. The ranking does not include the Olympic competition.
That was good moves, good dancing.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, better than I can do.
Me too. That's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wednesday edition of our show tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.